We are about to dive into a powerful healing hour with Vanessa Simpson. Oh my goodness gracious. If you want to stay conscious and empowered and tapped into your source, your sense of your greatness, your infinite power during challenging times, definitely stick around. This is going to be so freaking powerful. Absolutely stoked to get started. Before I introduce her though, I just want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing to be your greatest possible self, taking one step at a time. That's really, you already have everything that you need within you. You are equipped. You know what your gifts are. You know what's important to you. You know your values. You know what you stand for. You know the people you love to serve. So just remember that and allow that to land, and then show up in your conscious leadership, your freaking power, because you're so powerful. Thank you for being here. I'm going to introduce Vanessa in just a sec. Before that, grab a piece of paper, grab a pen to be able to take notes if you want, or you can just like sit back, enjoy the ride, because I'm sure it's going to be a transformational experience. So stick around all the way through to the end, because one of these moments has the power to unlock everything for you. Let's introduce her, then we'll bring her on the screen. Vanessa has a background in psychology, bodywork, and energy medicine, and shamanic practices. Yes. For the last 4 years, she has dedicated her life in answering her calling to serve conscious healers, leaders, and teachers back to their power and purpose with confidence in their mission and certainty in their calling, so that they can experience freedom from empowerment to create a long-lasting impact in the world and fulfillment in their life through integrative therapy and coaching. And we are blessed to have Vanessa with us here today. Vanessa, are you ready to rock the house, Superwoman?
Oh my goodness, so ready.
We are live and becoming your greatest possible self, Vanessa. Thank you for being here and just who you are in the world, and really sending us all together to the fifth dimension. Let's get it. Let's get it. We're going to have a lot of fun. I'm going to give some context before we dive in. Really the focus of this healing hour. And I created these to be able to have healers bring their gifts forward. Because it's one thing to do an interview. Those are a blast. I love them. And it's another thing to like actually use the modalities in a really powerful context and container. And so that's what we're creating here today for everyone who's with us live, watching replay, and even the people who are not here across all times and spaces are getting benefits from this session, from this conversation, from these moments of transformation, of alignment, of energy work, of all the beautiful things that you have to share with the world. So I just want to say thank you for being here, and for everyone who's tuning in, and for all the souls who are open and ready to receive this. We are yours, Vanessa. Let's do this.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Chris, for this opportunity to be of service. Yeah, especially right now with the crisis of the world, but it's beautiful. And I've been seeing a lot of conscious creators coming out, and I've been getting a lot of messages like, hey, I want to share my gifts with the world. How can I do this right now? It's needed more than ever. So it's super amazing that we can do this from a distance.
Yes.
And still unite and come together.
We're so blessed with this technology, and like, you know, just everything that's opening up, because some people may be like totally ready for this and they know what's coming, they know who you are, they're excited to dive in. And some people, it may be one of their first times, or more new to energy work, to healing sessions, and what is possible. So if you want, we can start off with some like context around the work that you do and why you do it. Just share a little bit more about like what you are intending to provide in this hour, and really bring forth. Like, let's just play around.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I do with my coaching clients and my healing clients is it's an extremely intuitive process, depending upon just the energies of where we're at currently right now in this moment. But essentially what I'm super passionate about, my first teacher, Sarah Walters, she really helped me tap into my own gifts. And what I found was, and what I've heard from my clients that they just received so much transformation from, is it's like a shamanic journey, but it's this transcendental journey. It is a form of meditation, and it's going inward, tuning inward. And we do this together, and I guide you through a journey that is it's intuitive. And the intention of this journey that we're going to dive into together right now here is to come into contact with your higher self right now and tap into your purpose. Everyone here has a purpose, has a mission. Whether you want to do it professionally or it's just something that you just shine your light no matter where you go, whether you are working at a grocery store, you're working at a hospital, you're in a corporate office, whatever it is, we all do have a soul mission here. And this is what I truly believe from my work that I've done since I was 18 years old and had my big awakening of, whoa, who am I? Why am I here? What's my purpose?
Yeah.
And I made a declaration in that moment of complete nothingness. I had nothing to attach to, nothing to grasp onto, no identity, no person, no belief, no identity. I had to surrender to faith. I had to surrender to this uncertainty, this unknown, that there has to be something more to life than just wake up, go to work, go to sleep, wake up, do it again. There has to be something more. And so the journey that I would like to guide us on today is that journey of coming into contact with this version of you that knows exactly why you're here, what your mission is, what your message is, and knows your greatest possible self. And during this journey, you are going to release identities, release attachments to what you think you know about what you think you know. Now, a master knows everything, but also knows that he knows nothing. So through that, we release, when we create space and release our attachments to, I am a mom, I am a sister, I'm a brother, I'm a partner, I'm a husband, I'm a wife, I'm a caretaker, I work here, this is what I do, I'm a coach, I'm a healer, I'm a scientist, whatever it is. When we just take a moment to release those roles of what we've grown accustomed to, we open ourselves up to the possibility of becoming something more, to stepping into something more. And it is the space of the unknown. It's a very loving space that we are about to step into. And so you are completely safe. You are completely supported by the loving energy of the universe, the frequency of creation itself, to come face to face, eye to eye, heart to heart, soul to soul with creation itself. And you are not separate from that. You are only a part of. You are an extension of this energy. And going through this journey, I would like us to just take a moment to tune in and set intention if we can. If you, no matter where you are, hopefully you're not driving, so making sure that you're in a place that you can tune into for the next 45 minutes. 30-45 minutes to tune in and just get comfortable, whether you want to take a seat or you would like to lay down, and just feel the frequency of my voice. I'm going to be channeling the essence of Reiki. And if you don't know what Reiki is, Rei means universal and Ki means life force in Japanese. This is a energy healing modality dated back to the 1920s and has been used through so many different types of people and groups to bring healing. And so you are going to be tuning into this frequency. You are going to feel it on every cell of your being, because we are in this quantum field, in this present moment together, no matter when you watch this, no matter where you are, whether you're conscious of it or not. And let's just take a moment to take a nice big deep breath in. And exhale, release, and let it go. Tuning deeper and deeper into this present moment. Now let's go ahead and exhale out all of our air together. And inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Letting go of any resistance as you inhale, tuning inward as if you're folding in on yourself. Releasing judgments and expectations as you exhale. Letting it go, becoming present in the here, in the now. The present, the gift that we have. The miraculous present moment. And now beginning at the top of your head. Just feeling your scalp, feeling the energy. And allow your forehead to relax. Allow your mind to settle. Allowing any thoughts to just pass. So letting go of them as if you're letting go of a balloon. Nowhere else you need to be, nothing else you need to do than be here right now. Becoming present. Tuning inward, feeling this relaxation now. In the middle of your forehead, perhaps you feel tingling, pressure. And if it's possible to see a beautiful light start to emerge and swirl and twirl in the middle of your forehead. Relaxing your mind, beautiful. Bringing your awareness here. Now bringing this wave of relaxation in through your center column, down your throat into your heart space. Relaxing your shoulders away from your ears, opening your chest, relaxing your throat. Relaxing your nervous system with every inhale. Letting go, surrendering to this moment. As we take a moment to set our intention with a mantra to repeat within the mind. Go ahead and repeat after me within your mind. I now call forth the power of Reiki energy to enter into my energy field now. To heal and cleanse on the deepest levels for myself and for the well-being of all. Beautiful. Let's inhale that in. And exhale, surrendering deeper and deeper. And I now would like to call in the energy of the fifth dimension, higher consciousness. All of our guides, our teachers, our ancestors of light, the ascended masters, the archangels, and each and every one of your higher selves. To be welcome into this sacred space as a place of divine meeting. Bringing your awareness into your heart space. And just noticing how your heart feels today. Is it full of energy? Do you feel any resistance? And if so, just breathe into any spaces of tension, relaxing your shoulders down and back, opening up your chest a little bit more. Beautiful. You are safe. You are exactly where you need to be. Now, what if you chose to be here right now? Go ahead and repeat as a mantra within your mind 3 times. I choose to be here. I choose to be here. I choose to be here. So many of us spend so much of our time wanting to be somewhere else than where we are. We have so much resistance to our present moment, as if we need to be more successful, we need to have more money, we need to have more love, more health, that we don't accept where we are. And in doing so, we grow further and further away from the present moment, where we can tap into that power to have it now, to feel it within you. By choosing to be here now, you open yourself up to the possibility of something greater. Something greater than you can even conceive in your mind. Now, may we begin this journey inward and onward. Let's inhale in. And as you exhale, begin to see, sense, and imagine yourself in a beautiful, sacred forest. You see trees around you, ancient trees. A beautiful day it is to be alive, to be conscious in the midst of crisis. Sensing yourself in this space and how it feels as you feel the wind against your skin. You look around and see beautiful birds swirling and twirling, playing and having fun. Perhaps you see animals around you. And as you look down, you see your feet connected to the earth. Wiggle your feet. See them connected to the earth. Let's inhale to ground, pulling in Mother Earth's energy. And as we exhale back down, grounding, centering. You are here in this space. And before you, you begin to see a path emerge and open up for you, headed off into the distance of the unknown, where all you can really see is light in the horizon. You feel In the pit of your stomach, this pull to begin walking, as if there's a cord pulling you forward. And you begin walking, being mindful of every step, as you connect deeper with the earth, noticing your connection to everything around you. And as you step, if you feel any tension, just lightly release it. Allowing yourself to become lighter and lighter. And notice if you feel any resistance, if you feel any heaviness. And within your mind, repeat after me. I am now open to releasing all attachments to who I think I am, what I think I know, and why I think I'm here. For my highest good and for the well-being of all. Inhale this calmness of presence. And as you exhale, notice if you feel any releasing of ropes on any of your limbs, on any of your energy centers that are wanting to hold you back into the past. As if these are chains of different densities releasing from you as you open yourself up to the possibility of becoming something greater. Just feeling any tightness begin to release from the chains, from the ropes of the past. Breaking free with trust as you open yourself up to something more. As you continue walking on this path, you're becoming lighter and lighter, as if you could float. As you walk on this path, just notice how you feel in your body. Notice the difference of your inhale, the clarity, the space that has been created as you exhale. And as you walk, you begin to see this beautiful person emerge from this light ahead of you, walking towards you. This person feels familiar. This person is your higher self. And notice how you feel as you see this being. Perhaps you feel emotion of all the beauty and the deepness that you feel this connection. Take a breath. And as you exhale, just returning deeper and deeper inward. As you come closer and closer with this essence of you. Your higher self begins to walk off the path. And as you look, you see that there is a space created for you to sit, to mingle, to have fun and chat. Your higher self goes and sits down in this space. And you feel the urge within you to follow. And as you take a seat and you come eye to eye with this version of you, the truth of you, begin to ask your higher self, who am I? Why am I here? And what's my purpose? Releasing those questions to your higher self and open yourselves up, facing your palms upward to receive the answers now. And take a few moments to listen. Notice if you feel any resistance to the answers, as if you're afraid to know. What if you could surrender your fear for a moment? For the possibility with courage. To receive the wisdom that you know. Notice how you feel. Who you are. Why you are here. And what is your purpose? Allow yourself to receive this if it's coming through words, images, visions, feelings, emotion. All of it is perfect. Perhaps you're shocked by the simplicity of it. Perhaps you have a smile on your face and kind of laugh that you thought it was more complicated than that. Allow yourself to embrace your higher self as if this is the warmest, most fulfilling, most familiar embrace that you've ever felt. Knowing that this relationship here with your higher self and your inner child that is coming running from the deepness of the forest to this space to meet you and your higher self comes and jumps in for a group hug. That you three always have been and always will be the three of Holy Trinity. This energy, this space that's awakening within your heart, with the power of three, of we, of me. This is how we stay conscious. Through any adversity. Allowing yourself to have fun. To dance, to play. And shake any resistance away. Seeing yourself for who you truly are. Every action, every decision, every choice, every word, every thought, every feeling. What if we could act as if it was always a part of the higher purpose of your life? It's an attitude. It takes away expectation. And eventually becomes your baseline of how you perceive and how you receive. In times of peace and adversity. Let's inhale this in. Allowing yourself to feel the upgrade of your heart space as it trickles through your system. Your cells remembering. You are that you are. Let's inhale this in. And exhale this out as you return to your body, awakening, wiggling your toes, opening your eyes. How was that, Chris?
Wow. Powerful. Powerful. I saw my higher self as an ethereal being, right? Like not even physical, just like totally ascended consciousness that can take on any kind of matter, any kind of shape, and yeah, and I think everyone has their own experience and what they see and stuff. But for me, it was like seeing that, and then that little boy and having him coming and running and doing that group hug, and then feeling it all, like as we're hugging, we just all become one being, and like all the feeling, all the presence, all the awareness, all the source, all the God within, and experience that. It was so powerful.
Wow. Yes, I felt it. I felt it. I see my higher self always as this, so like a white being with these big butterfly wings, it looks
Yeah.
like.
Yeah. Oh my
And
gosh.
yes. And yeah, it's and this is how, because now that image, that space that's created, we can tap into that at any time. And no matter what's happening in the world, knowing that it is all happening for a higher purpose, and it's creating this, we are more connected in a conscious manner, even if it is at first through fear, like, oh my gosh, this is happening. Us as conscious creators, we get to choose whether or not we give into that and we just absorb ourselves in it. But the thing that's funny about that is we can kind of predict where that goes if we're giving into any fear, whether it's what's happening right now, just being that it's the topic of a lot of conversation. But no matter what comes up in your life, essentially we always do come down to the two paths, which me and you have talked about with the beginning of the awakening journey. You can choose to take a path of fear and in scarcity and lack, and you're getting further away from truth. Or you can choose to be within love, to make loving choices for yourself. And so questions, this is something that through the coaching that I've done with clients and received myself, some of the most powerful sessions I've had are of certain questions that it's never about the answer, it's always about the question that we ask. Because then we open ourselves up to a different perspective by asking questions. And then on top of that, having the courage to receive the answer in whatever form it comes in. A lot of people are scared of what the answer could be. And I've noticed this with some of the clients I've had in the soul purpose coaching that I've done, is that when we've done these similar journeys, and it's like they feel that they're receiving an answer, but there's like a resistance to it. And it always comes down to like, I'm scared of what the answer is, or how much power that's going to give me, because we've been programmed from such a young age that we're not good enough, that we're not worthy of being great. Someone else needs to be great, and then we'll follow them.
It's like remembering. The thing that keeps coming up for me is like remembering the infinite power within us, the source within us. And every time we come to that fork, that choice, it's like, are we going to choose to remember that we don't need anything outside of ourselves? We don't need any substance. We don't need any, whatever, any coping thing that we have relied on and depended on up until this point. And it's like, when we're willing to say, I no longer need that. I know that doesn't serve me anymore. I'm choosing to remember that I am worthy. I am loved. I can be empowered in spite of the circumstances or whatever's going on, and like activate that dormant part of ourself that has been waiting to be chosen again, that has been waiting to be fully embraced, fully integrated, fully received, so that we can operate at that higher frequency and that higher level.
Wow. Yes. And it's so true. And the biggest thing I want to say to add on to that is being patient with that process. Some, depending upon your sensitivity or just where you're at on your journey. I know like the integration period after a certain type of work, it takes a little bit of time to like build up that momentum, just because we do have these dense bodies, and it takes a little bit of time to get them in alignment with where we have consciously chosen to go. And that's hard for a lot of people, because we have been also programmed for like this I need instant gratification, food, drugs, sex, rock and roll, whatever it is.
It's that high, right? We want the thrill. It's almost like that aliveness, right? It's so interesting because there are ways to create aliveness in conversation, in vulnerability, in dancing, playing, singing, like whatever that is, whatever exhilaration or even, adrenaline rushes, things like that, as far as, pushing our life and our body to the limits. And I also think that people seek that and they want it, the instant gratification. And we're also hardwired to do it with like social media and things that we've been programmed with and news. And it's like to consciously take back that power and say, I will no longer rely or depend on those like lower vibrational things. And I will choose when I'm feeling like crap, I will choose to do the thing that I know is actually in my highest and best good and will activate me the most long term, will resonate the most with my highest self long term.
Oh, and you said it. Let's coin that right there. Something that I talk about a lot is what's sustainable. Is it sustainable to continue doing whatever it is that you're doing, what the habits are, no matter what it is, like thinking long term. We haven't been taught to to think long term. It's like just what's going to work for me now. And then we just get into that habit because it's easy. It's just like eating healthy. Like just because you have a week of eating healthy does, it takes time. It takes time. So definitely making decisions from a place of, I always ask this question to myself when I'm coming across a habit or a certain behavior of mine or a choice that I'm making. Like, is this sustainable? Is this going to serve me long term? And that's so huge because of how quick we are to serve the short term. And this is where, aligning our priorities and our goals. I don't even want to say goals. I don't really like using that word, but our priorities and our values and our vision of where we want to go. Is this going to serve me on that journey? That doesn't mean that, of course we need to be easy with ourselves. It's not about perfection. It's just about progress. So even if it's just that 1%, that's perfect. But, if we steer off the path, that's perfect too. And that is a part of the journey, because perhaps those are some lessons that you need to learn, and then just to revert back to that path. But I do truly believe that we all do have our highest aligned path that we can access at any moment. And on that path that's the prosperity, that is the health, that is everything that we dream of on that path. And doing that 1% in every day. And also I feel like the biggest thing on that path of how I at 18 years old didn't go with the masses of going to college and pursuing becoming a psychologist all the way through. And how did I go that way when my are like, you need to go do this. Society's like, you need to go do this. All odds are against me at that point, besides my own inner knowing. And it's in that moment of choosing to trust yourself, trust your inner knowing more than anything external from you that's telling you otherwise. That takes significant courage. It takes significant courage to leave a job that you've been at for 15 years and grown so comfortable for something that it isn't right. You're scared of what the other side holds. But I every single time from that moment that I'm making that decision at that fork in the road of trusting my inner knowing, things have happened to me that I can't even tell you how it happened. It just did. It was miraculous. And the people that I've connected to help me on my journey, as I have invested into myself and have mentors and have teachers and people to help me on my journey to keep me aligned so that I can keep receiving these opportunities and doing that work. But it takes trust. You have to trust that you are going to receive and that you already do have all that you need.
So good. So good. I wanted to ask you a question while I was in the session that you were providing, like the healing and experiencing that connection with my higher self. The thing that came to me of like, what's your purpose, is soul coach, right? And I heard like years ago that like, hey, I that was something that I created with someone who was coaching me, and I had like a lot of resistance to it. I've been using the mission that I created with that person, and it's like felt true, it's felt resonant ever since then. It's to really awaken the power within each person I meet, so they can discover and experience that God within, embracing them in more joy, love, and transcendence, right? Like that is who I am in all aspects of my life. And I think I've been afraid of fully embodying that, or soul activation. I don't know like what's the specific thing of it, but I think like greatest possible self, I love it. And I think that there's a deeper level of work that I'm meant to be doing here. And I was talking to you about this before on our call before, and it's like, hey, what is that message? How do I communicate that? How do I share that with the world? So, I just wanted to ask you, like, when we experience that thing that just like comes to us instantly, like we get to trust that, right? We get to say that came to me for a reason. There's a reason why that came up, why that, is like right here, soul coach, that came to me in that moment. Is there anything else you'd like guide someone around that, or guide someone in my position, like what to do with that information?
Right. Yes. Beautiful, beautiful question. So, yeah, receiving specifically to your situation, I would do, since you received an answer, now it's what we do with that information. So the three pillars, if you will, when receiving a certain, that I would put into like a certain role that
Okay.
you are going to have within Earth, within while you're here. So asking yourself, okay, so when you're embodying this role of being a soul coach, now what does that mean to you? Let's say that I'm a soul coach, and like, why would you come and see me? If you can switch the table around and you are going to see someone that is considering themselves a soul coach,
Right.
what and it's simple. It also it's simple. Why would you be going and seeing someone that has that certain role? Like, what would attract you to that? So the three pillars is what is my message as a soul coach. So allowing yourself to trust that answer and then put on that role for a moment, as if what you're doing now, perhaps you've always been doing it. So what is my soul message within this role? And you pretty much already said it. So helping people transcend and connect deeper, and it all just plays a part to what you've already been doing, because our greatest possible self is our soul self.
Yep.
And then our ego surrenders to that and like does the work while we're here.
Yep.
And so what is my message? And then what is the vision within that role too? What does that look like? Are you wanting to do speaking? Are you wanting to retreats? Are you wanting to continue doing coaching sessions on helping people connect deeper to their soul and all that, and the blueprint of their soul, of what their soul is here to help them through? When I think of soul and feel into that, being able to see higher perspectives to certain circumstances. So soul is all about victor from victim, helping transcend victim. Like, why is this happening to me? Or like blame and shame and guilt and all these lower frequencies, being able to see the higher perspective and how all of that has a purpose.
Wow.
And so helping people heal from that type of victim consciousness, which we were born into. It's not anything to be ashamed of. I mean, if we're ashamed, there's even more like effect,
Yes.
transcending people to be more in touch with that oneness and seeing the higher perspective, no matter what the situations are, triggers that they have, it's everything that pulls us out of alignment. There's a lesson there to be learned.
Yes.
So, so we have what's my soul message? What's my soul's vision within this role, from the message that you received, and then the mission. Now there's a certain mission, and when I say mission, meaning that this can typically how I work with mission statements from the soul are typically it's like a problem that you see in the world where you're just like it gets this like fire started in you. Like when you think of that, like for me, it's the way that we deal with mental health and then our education system as well. Like that's, ooh, okay. And instead of that being for most people, when they experience a place of pain to a degree where you kind of see something, you feel that like, and it's like a pain point, turning that pain into a sense of power. Now, this is where we have our free will to choose whether we just get angry and frustrated about it and just talk shit about it, or we can turn that power into a sense of passion.
Wow.
Where this is actually moving us through our mission of why we're here. Or your soul's mission is to break systems. It's to change and transcend the old paradigm in some way. Even the smallest systems of how we eat, to the bigger systems of how we run our country, in our education systems, the industries. What gets that tick, and how does it talk when you really tune into it, and you now are experiencing this sense of passion, and this passion is what's going to fuel your purpose within that role of what you would be taking on, and that's essentially your mission as a soul.
So to recap that, the message is like, what is like, what do I stand for? How do I communicate that? How, like, what would people expect to experience when they come work with me in my purpose? And then the vision is, what do I want from my life? How do I see myself living that and embodying that and like delivering that to the world, so to speak? And how is my life impacted because of that? And then the mission is, what is the problem or the opportunity for evolution that is currently existing in the world, and how am I going to be contributing to that evolution long after I'm gone, like forwarding the movement and progression in that evolution.
Beautiful. Yes, exactly. And I would just tap on to the message aspect, essentially who you're serving, why you're serving them, and how they change and transform because of that.
Got it.
From like taking it on as like a professional standpoint, and being able, and this like typically it changes. It changes. There's just like those, for me, there's a few key words that I make sure that I speak about that really speak to me, and they express that this is who I am and what I do and why I do it. And so that message, it's so interesting because it changes depending upon your circumstances and depending upon who you're talking to too. I've been really heavy on attachment for the last like 3 months of like really diving into the philosophy and the spiritual wisdom of attachment and how to transcend it and how it blocks us from truly experiencing our greatest possible soul self. So yes, you're right on it.
Oof, I love it. Vanessa, thank you so much for that clarity, for the questions. And I know that people are going to have questions of how can they tap more into their higher self, their greatest possible self, and awaken into that fifth dimension. And you're doing so much in that realm. So why don't we tell our audience what they can do next? What ways can they get involved with you? Who's the right person, the people who you love to work with, and how do they take those next steps?
Absolutely. Yes. So I do offer free consultation calls, which I believe the link, Calendly, or going to Fifth Dimension Therapy on Facebook or my website, fifthdimensiontherapy.com, to speak with me, and we will dive into it. And the person that would be feeling called is, number one, you feeling called, you feeling that draw, that you are you feel that you are here for something more, and you don't quite have the clarity, the confidence, or the direction to pursue that. And so it's kind of like this stuckness, like you're like, this is kind of my reality. I don't know. I want to help. Essentially, these are conscious, transformational healers, leaders, and teachers of our time, and specific to their own way, that there's something specific to you and your journey, your story. And that's what we really tap into. And that right there has that's the purpose within your story. And then how do we share that with the world in what way that completely resonates with you, whether you want to do it professionally or it's just something to add more value to your life. So if that's you and you feel that call, you can definitely reach out to me, Vanessa Simpson, on Facebook, or fifthdimensiontherapy.com.
Yes. I love it. Vanessa, you're such a superwoman. Fifthdimensiontherapy.com. That's where people can go to find out more, to join you on the journey, to hire you, to just inquire about what you could do for their life and the transformation you could provide and support them in creating in their own life. And thank you for the healing. Thank you for just getting us present and connected with what is most important for us. I'm excited to see what people experience when they listen to this on the replay or the podcast, and just like what they got present to in that, because I know for me it was powerful, just feeling that alignment, feeling that connectedness, feeling that synergy. So just thank you for who you are.
Oh, and thank you for who you are as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Vanessa. We'll see you soon. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Awesome.
Take care.
Bye.